This is Modern Persian Food,
a culinary podcast for today's food enthusiast.
We talk about classic Persian flavors,
modern recipes,
and embracing culture and identity through food.
I'm Bita.
And I'm also Bita.
Welcome to our show. Welcome to episode 177. Today we're talking about shopping at Trader Joe's as a one-stop solution to make a special spring-inspired meal. We love Trader Joe's because it offers some unique ingredients and the prices are pretty good. They also have a lot of pre-made and pre-prepped items and quite a variety of Middle Eastern items, actually. So we thought it'd be really fun. We've been meaning to talk about shopping at Trader Joe's and the things that we make there. So the time is right. We have Easter at the end of the month if you celebrate that. And I'm joined, as always, with co-host Bita, the other Bita June. Hey, Bita.
Hi, Bita June. Nice chatting with you today. I'm excited to talk about Trader Joe's. You're right. We have been considering talking about Trader Joe's for a while, so it's fun that we're actually going to be doing it. And why I love Trader Joe's is that I know that I can walk into Trader Joe's and when I walk out, I'll have the ingredients to make a home-cooked Persian meal with some time-saving shortcut tips and ingredients and hacks and some ingredients that are actually can be used for a variety of different dishes. So I'm glad that I can utilize Trader Joe's. I have one super close to me that I can even walk to if I wanted to. So today let's talk about what ingredients we can do. Let's go course by course and see what are some of our favorite items that we buy and that we cook for our families and entertain with. And let's go ahead and start with appetizers.
Great. Well, if I was going to be putting together a meal and I'm thinking about the appetizers and side dishes, it would be really easy to make a meze platter / cheese board and just offer some ready-to-go items that you can quickly grab from Trader Joe's. They have dolma. I have gotten rice-based dolma and quinoa-based dolma. The thing about Trader Joe's is that some of their items come and go. So it sometimes is seasonal and sometimes it just, I guess, depends on what's popular. But I think they're really pretty good. And so you kind of open the can and the grandmothers and maybe traditional cooks may be cringing a little that we're not taking the time to wrap the grape leaves. But I really appreciate that it's as easy as that. You can make it more sour by adding some gureh or capers. You could make it more sweet if you like it sweet and make kind of like a honey drizzle. So you can kind of make the dolma your own by adding things to the ready-made version. But I really like them. They're vegetarian. They're easy to put on a platter along with some other items. They also have a really delicious eggplant dip that I love to pick up. It's a roasted eggplant and red pepper spread. And that is just wonderful to put out as a dip as well. I love that dip also as just a flavor enhancer that I'll sometimes put into some of the other things I'm cooking. Khoresh, omelette, anything that's kind of tomato-based, to me, it just tastes delicious. I really like that dip. And then they also have just about anything you want to put on a cheese board. You know, you could actually add that to your meze platter and have pita chips. They have a variety of crackers and nuts and dried fruits. And they have naan and they have lavash. So the naan is technically an Indian bread, but it works. It's delicious. And they have it in plain. They have it in garlic. And they do have tortilla if you want to make a tahdig, which we'll talk about later. And they have the flat lavash bread. So lots of choices there to kind of put out on your meze platter and offer to your guests or to your family.
I love the selection of breads that they have. Yeah, they also have like pitas. And one little appetizer that I love making is making little wraps with the lavash bread and some of their fresh herbs and maybe some green onion and feta cheese and maybe some radishes on the side. And I love actually making individual little wraps. So it's like a platter of them and people can just take a wrap ready to go as opposed to building it themselves, which is always fun too. So if you want to do a traditional sabzi khordan platter, you can do that. that. Or you can have it already assembled and it's fun for entertaining or for packing a picnic and it's ready to go. Another bread, if you want to elevate kind of the standard breads, is actually getting the dough. They have pizza dough that I love using and making like a flatbread, like kind of like barbari or sangak kind of inspired with the pizza dough. I do that and you can put some sesame seeds on it or even just a little bit of salt or some herbs de Provence. And it makes it super fun and it makes the house smell delicious of the fresh baked dough. So that's another way you can kind of elevate your appetizers with some of the items, either ready-made or that you can build on yourself.
Yeah, and they have a really impressive selection of cheeses and nuts. They have pistachios that are shelled and ready to go. They have walnuts, they have almonds, they have Marcona almonds that are nice on a cheese board. And the prices are good. You know, if you don't need a huge quantity, they do have a big selection. They have feta cheese, they have beautiful hard cheeses. So definitely the cheese board meze platter is a great way to start out.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, what about some of the other sides and salads? You use a lot of their prepared salads, don't you, Pizza June?
I do. You know, I make salad almost every day from scratch, but I do like to grab their Greek salads that are already made just to have on those days that we're in a rush and we just need a salad starter or one that's already good to go. So the Greek salad comes with feta already in there, some black olives, some chopped red pepper, lettuce, cucumber, and a red wine vinaigrette. So it's really simple. It doesn't have any tomatoes to worry about getting mushy, and it lasts a few days. So that's kind of a nice little lunch add-on or ready to go salad that you can supplement if you need it to be a larger portion for a group or a special dinner. So yeah, they have that. They have a chickpea ready-to-made salad. I think it's called balela. Ready to go. You just take it out of the package. It has the dressing in it. It's quite delicious. I think it has like a vinegar-based dressing. And they have a bunch of different salad packs that are a lot of fun. You just basically open them and put the ingredients in and toss it. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you're pressed for time a little bit. It's just nice to have all the ingredients ready to go like that. But if you did want to take a few extra minutes and make your own salad shirazi, you can have all of the ingredients in the produce department. I actually appreciate the packages, the packaged vegetables. It just makes it a lot easier. I can get some Persian cucumbers, some tomato, and some onion, and I can have a great base for the salad shirazi with some fresh lemon juice and salt and pepper. It's definitely a Persian dish. Just thinking about the lemon juice right now makes my mouth kind of pucker up a little bit, which I love.
Yeah, we like lime. We like to make our salad shirazi with lime juice.
Extra tart. Sounds
Extra
delicious.
tart.
Yeah. And then, you know, the olive selection is nice. You can always just get a jar of olives to put on the side too. So those salads are really easy and convenient to do. Another thing that I love making with some of the ingredients from Trader Joe's are the yogurt dips. Burani. It's really great. You get the yogurt. I just use plain yogurt. I don't even use Greek yogurt necessarily when I'm making it. And I love making it with some of the spinach that you can get. You just saute the spinach and onions. But if you want it super easy, you can actually, they have cooked beets that I love in the produce section that I just go ahead and grate some beets with the yogurt and a little bit of splash of vinegar in there, of red wine vinegar and dried mint. And that's a fun little dip. Another dip also, of course, is the mastochiar classic with the cucumber and the yogurt and mint, or you can use dill if you'd like to, and a delicious side that you could have with some of the fun main courses that we'll get into.
Yeah, and you can also pick up their ready-to-made Greek yogurt dip, tzatziki. How do you say it?
Yeah. Tzatziki.
Yeah. They have the regular one and they have a vegan one. And again, you can supplement it with English cucumbers or Persian cucumbers and a little dried Persian mint if you want. But that's a time-saving hack is to get
tzatziki. Get the same flavors there, especially if you're going to be spending time making something more elaborate. It's nice to have these additional shortcuts and other items to supplement your meal with.
Yeah, so lots of choices for appetizers and sides. let's move on to what you can get from Trader Joe's to drink.
Okay.
And some of the beverages. So they do have pomegranate juice. It's quite good. I've seen straight pomegranate juice there, and I've also picked up pomegranate blends. And they have a variety of teas. They have sparkling waters. So lots of things. They have wine, great prices on wine.
Yeah. And then, some of those fruit juices can be very rich, actually. So one thing you could do is you can turn it into like a spritz by adding some sparkling water to it. That kind of resembles our sharbat when you have something very sweet like a juice, and then you kind of cut it with water or sparkling water. And so that's perfect for warmer weather and for just having a nice alternative drink to have.
I do that a lot. I love sparkling water, and I do love a little sparkling juice blend. They also have carrot juice. Their carrot juice is quite good. It's in the refrigerated section. Yeah, it's really nutritious and delicious.
Yeah, we do get their juices. I love their carrot juice as well. And we have a orange juice blend that we get from the refrigerated section as well. And we like that. And we like making popsicles out of it too.
Well, fun. Okay, well, it's time to talk about the main course.
Yes, indeed. I love the main course. But it's just fun because there's so many time-saving products that you can use to make like a main course come together really easily. If we wanted to start with like rice, because we're talking about Persian food and we're talking about rice, you can get the raw rice and cook it yourself. They have a bunch of frozen ones that you can use: white rice, brown rice, cauliflower rice if you want to do that. You can also make these layered rice dishes really easily. So one layered rice dish, let's talk about a few of them. One of them is adas polo, lentil rice. And you can use the dried lentils. Bitajun's an expert on the dried lentils at Trader Joe's. But I love using the already cooked lentils in the produce section. So yes, you're not going to get as fine of a little adas, a little bean of lentil. It loses its shape a little bit when you use the pre-cooked ones, but it just makes it super easy. And you can top that adas polo with dates and raisins and caramelized onions and a little bit of cinnamon. And if you want to put walnuts, I know, Bituja, I think you put pistachios with your adas polo. Is that right?
I have before, yeah. Mm-hmm. I like nuts.
Yeah. So that's one of my kind of like easy go-to, knowing that I can get all those ingredients from Trader Joe's pretty easily if I want to use as a main course.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with adas polo, with the lentil rice, it's really about the topping. So I can understand that using the one that's already pre-made, it's still going to be delicious. If you're putting the cinnamon and the yummy fried onions and the dates and raisins, it's still going to be so good. But they do have a bag of dried green lentils, and they're really easy. You just boil them. And they hold their shape pretty nicely. So I like those lentils. I have some right now.
Yeah, those lentils are also great. I like making a asha adas, or like a lentil soup.
Yeah.
With those lentils too, super easy. Yeah, adasi, some people call it, that you can kind of just dump all the ingredients into a pot with their chopped up onions and carrots and celery. You can just kind of throw that all into a pot, and pretty quickly, and after 20, 25 minutes, you have from scratch lentil soup. So that's always a fun way to do it.
That vegetable mix you just referred to, I think it's called mirepoix. I get that all of the time. It's a great soup base. I use it in my little egg muffins that I will meal prep and plan with sometimes. But it's a great way to get veggies and onions, and it's already chopped, which I appreciate.
Yeah, it's so easy. It's right, especially when you're short on time. Let's talk about some other rice dishes. You want to talk about lubia polo?
Sure. Lubia polo is one of our favorites. We talked about it so much early on when we were podcasting. We haven't talked about it in a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
It's the green bean layered rice. It's also so delicious. It has a little bit of tomato paste or tomato sauce and cinnamon, and you could use different kinds of green beans. So if I'm in a big rush, I'll get canned green beans. If my mom is with me, we'll probably use fresh and chop away. And my mom is the expert of making it. I mean, she makes it so, so good. You can make it vegetarian. You can make it with chicken. You can make it with ground beef. So there's a lot of different ways to make lubia polo. I know you like to make it as well, Bita June.
Yeah, I do love making it. And that's a good thing about going to Trader Joe's is that you can kind of pick what kind of protein you want to use. Like for that lubia polo, you just mentioned some of the main meats that go along with it, but there's also like the tofu crumbles that we'll use when we're making a vegetarian version of lubia polo. You can't even tell the difference. It's super delicious. You can really just kind of pick and choose your protein. And I like doing that actually when I make my khoresh karafs, also regular tofu, you can put into your dishes as well. They have all those different options there. But I did want to touch on one more layered rice before we do jump into khoresh, and that is shirin polo, which is a sweet layered rice that is usually for celebratory occasions, but you can really have it anytime. And traditionally, the dish has zeresh, barberries in it, but you can use dried cranberries. I know, Bitoja, you love the dried cherries in there, and they have the slivered almonds. And I actually love using a shortcut of adding a tablespoon of apricot jam to the topping mix instead of adding sugar to it. And you just layer that or display it on top of a beautiful bed of white rice. And it's super satisfying and a little different. And it's actually quite a crowd pleaser. I feel like most people like shirin polo.
Mm-hmm. It's really pretty. And they do sell a bag of pre-slivered carrots in a bag. So that makes it really easy. They also have dried cranberries or dried cherries. I really like the tart dried cherries. And they have a variety of nuts that you can add to it as well. It's a beautiful rice. Some people call it jeweled rice.
Yeah, it is. I love that. It is delicious. And I actually will take that similar topping and use it for my tachin recipe as well. So tachin is the baked rice casserole that's served traditionally inverted onto a platter that has a beautiful tahdig all around it. It's baked with yogurt and eggs, and it's super delicious. You could add saffron to that as well. And this sweet topping is delicious on top of the tachin.
Yes. And speaking of tachin, they have eggs at Trader Joe's. They have yogurt, so you can get your ingredients for your tachin. Well, let's move on to meats and protein. They do have meats and protein. What are some of the meats and protein you sometimes shop for if you're making a special meal, Bita?
Yeah. So, we kind of covered on some of the basic meats, but if I wanted to kind of have a little bit more of a special meal, what I love, and usually when we have special occasions, one of the dishes we go back to are lamb chops. We do love lamb here. And so lamb chops, you can get a rack of lamb there and go ahead and cut it. I cut mine into the individual chops, and then we either grill them or in a cast iron pan to get a nice char on the side of the meat. And it doesn't really take much. You just really salt and pepper is really all that you really need. Maybe a little bit of lemon juice. But that's kind of the protein that we go to for like a kind of special occasion if we want to do something a little elevated or maybe like a steak. But yeah, the variety of different meats that they have is great. And also when we want to do something nice, sometimes we do salmon. Actually, not even just for nice. We've been trying to add more salmon into our weekly meals. And so at least once a week, I'm getting some salmon from there. And I enjoy their fresh wild salmon a lot. So that's definitely some of the other meats that we use.
Yeah, I do like their fresh salmon. They also have frozen. They have a bag of frozen salmon. They have a nice branzino. I sometimes will get their branzino and cook that up. That's really lovely as well. Well, let's talk about khoresh, and that's the lovely sauce that is iconic in home Persian cuisine that we prepare and often serve and enjoy with rice.
Yeah, I love making khoresh karafs. Khoresh karafs is the celery and herb stew, again, served over rice. We talked about rice earlier. If you want to put a little layer of tahdig underneath your rice to steam away some lavash or some slices of potato or just the rice itself to have a great tahdig, and have the khoresh karafs on top. You could buy the celery, you could buy the mint and the parsley. And, if you want to have meat in it, I've done it also with just triangles of tofu, and you can add lemon juice to that. And it's like one of those that's super easy. They also have tomato paste. You just mix a little bit of tomato paste based on your recipe. And it's one of those you walk in and you walk out and you have all the ingredients that you need for khoresh karafs.
Yeah, I love making khoresh karafs, the celery stew with artichoke. And they do have jarred artichoke there that is easy to put into that khoresh.
Have you ever tried the frozen artichoke in there?
I have. Yeah, I haven't put it in the khoresh, but I have had it. It's kind of grilled.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Oh,
yeah.
That's interesting. I'll definitely have to try that one. Yeah, so it's a lot of variety of different ingredients that you can use to make kind of your main dishes. One other dish that I love is ash rishte, which is a hearty herb-based bean and noodle soup. And I make a really fast version of ash rishte from Trader Joe's. I use some canned beans. I use frozen spinach. I get some of the fresh herbs and chop it up. I use a bunch of onions. For the noodles, I use fettuccine noodles, a little garnish of yogurt. And I do love having the fried onions that they have, sometimes only seasonally, but I love topping my ash rishte with that.
Sounds delicious.
All right. Well, no Persian meal would be complete without at least a little dessert.
Shirini, the sweets.
Yes, indeed. What is your dessert of choice from Trader Joe?
It depends. If I'm entertaining, I probably would look in the frozen area. They have entire cakes that are ready to go. They have nice pastries. And again, their items sort of rotate depending on the season. My mom really likes the little mini ginger cookies. I will usually get a container of ginger cookies for my mom. They have dates. And if I'm in the mood to cook something, they do have almond flour. So I can pick up the almond flour and make a Persian love cake. So those are some of the things that I like to make. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, the basic cookies and dates with some tea is a great little dessert to have. But if I wanted to do something a little bit more special, they have a frozen cheesecake that I love elevating with different jams. So they have a variety of different jams. So sometimes that apricot jam is really lovely on top of it. They also have something called a fig butter, which it doesn't have any butter in it. It's just fig puree, and topping that on top of a cheesecake or even one of the simple plain cakes just elevates it so much. You can get an orange and zest a little orange on top of it for an additional little amplification of the flavors. So I love using that. They also have a great vanilla ice cream. It's our go-to vanilla ice cream at our house. And you can kind of elevate that a little bit if you want to add some Persian flavors to it, or just have it plain with some pound cake on the side and some fresh fruit. It's really lovely.
Those all sound really delicious. They also have sour cherry jam for your cheesecake or even on top of your ice cream. Well, this was really fun. If you're listening to us, that means that you care about Persian culture and you have a desire to connect to the culture through food, as we do. So thank you for joining us. Please pass this along to a friend that it made you think of. And we hope we've inspired you to shop at Trader Joe's and make a Persian-inspired meal this spring.
Indeed. And if you do make a Persian meal from Trader Joe's, tag us on social media. We're on Instagram and on YouTube. Let us know what you are making, and we would love to share that with the rest of our audience. Thanks again, everyone, and have a great day.
Till next time. Bye.
Bye-bye. You've been listening to the Modern Persian Food Podcast with Bita and Bita. Thanks for spending time with us. If you've enjoyed what you heard today, consider telling a friend or giving us a good rating. You can subscribe to our show for free on your favorite podcasting app, or find us online at modernpersianfood.com or on Instagram for the recipes and information we talked about today. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and see you next time.